Hi everyone, how's it going? Little bit awkward. I just realized I left my book in my room. So I'm gonna have to go grab that now. Whoops. Um, I will leave you with some. No, I can't do that to you. I was gonna leave you with the be right back music, but you've just been listening to that epic boss fight, which I put on for. I got the names of the bosses wrong. That's not the boss I'm gonna be fighting. I was just like, oh, it's like a goat person. Sure, yeah, that's the one. Oh my god. So I've made two mistakes today already, and I'm like a second into my stream. Hold on a sec. I'll go grab my book. It's nothing for you to look at. Um, I'll put on that song again, actually, because that was a cool song. There we go. All right. Well, thing is, the buns are separate right now. Oh, I'll just turn that on. Sorry, I know you were all enjoying that. Um, I can't do bunny cam right now because I'm going to be reading some fables first. Before I do that, however, I do need to set up my phone in order to do that thing. No, the buns are still here. The buns are alive and well and in the house. They're still here. They're just I took away the channel points option because I just thought I'm just gonna put bunny cam on all the time because I like looking at them while I'm playing video games because they're very very handsome. I've got these two little Netherland dwarf buns
Hey there.
that I'm fostering. Oh, thank you for following Soft Boy Social Club. Yeah, so that's what's going on there. Wait, how do I normally? Sorry, I'm getting confusing myself again. All right, let me get the old camera thing on. What was it? I will need to put it on this. If you can hear snoring, it will be John Pierre because he's sleeping near me. But once it's like, what the hell? Ah, why? Oh right, I forgot why it is that I do this. Okay, yeah, it's because I want to read the book like that. Oh geez, it's horrible. Okay, let me. Cav P, professional streamer, really knows how to make an engaging stream with great content. Oh whoops, did I just turn it off? I just turned it off, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Whoops. All right. Here we are again, and that has stopped, but if I refresh, it'll be back again, and we get the camception. I just want to be able to move it down. Oh, there we go. All right, I think I've got it now, everyone. Hooray! Hey there, Urkerman386. We're gonna read some world's greatest fables. We got up to story number 10, but I want to do this as a warm up on morality before we play Undertale. I hope you don't mind. So, the stories that we've read so far. Oh, geez, brushing against the camera. This is going well. So, stories so far, we've read The Wolf and the Lion, The Fox and the Lion, The Mules and the Robbers, the dogs and the fox, the cock and the jewel. Wait, did we read the cock and the jewel? No. No, I don't think we read the cock and the jewel. Let's read that one. Okay, the cock and the jewel. As a cock... Sorry. Alright. Don't know why I'm laughing. It's absolutely nothing which inspired that. Okay, as a cock was scratching up the straw in the farmyard in search of food for the hens. Do roosters actually do that? Do roosters actually give food to the chickens? Because I feel like they don't. Sure, that one is SFW. Anyway, as he, scratching up the straw, he hit upon a jewel that by some chance had found its way there. Her! Wow, I can't guarantee this one is safe for work. Her, said he, you are a very fine thing, no doubt, to those who prize you, but give me a barley corn before all the pearls in the world. There's no moral written. So do we know what is... Like, normally Aesop's very sort of explicit in what the moral should be. I'm assuming the moral here should be... Like, it could be... I'm guessing the rooster is the wise one here. And because the one who says the last thing tends to have the moral of the story. And the moral is basically, like, food in the hand is more than a jewel in the cock or something. I don't know. The moral is hungry cock. Yeah, like, I can see this also being a thing about how foolish the rooster is because he doesn't appreciate, like, $20 can buy many peanuts, that whole thing. The moral could really go either way here. Anyway, never bedazzle your cock. Things are only valuable if you give them value. Yeah, like, that seems like a reasonable thing to get from it. But knowing Aesop, you could probably have the exact same story and he'd write another meaning. So anyway, the other ones we've read are the astronomer, the countryman and the snake, the oxen and the axle trees, which talks about a wagon. Waggon, the wagon. Penazzle. Oh, jeez. And last one was the boys and the frogs, which actually had a decent moral. Okay, so next up, we're going to read 10 of these, and then start our lovely, whatever it is, Undertale game. That's it. That's what we're doing today. The Travelers and the Bear. Two friends were traveling on the same road together when they met with a bear. The one, in great fear, without a thought of his companion, climbed up into a tree and hid himself. The other, seeing that he had no chance, single-handed against the bear, had nothing left but to throw himself on the ground and feign to be dead, for he had heard that the bear will never touch a dead body. As he thus lay, the bear came up to his head, nuzzling and snuffing at his nose and ears and heart. Snuffing, that's such a cute word. But the man immovably held his breath, and the beast, supposing him to be dead, walked away. When the bear was fairly out of sight, his companion came down out of the tree and asked what it was that the bear whispered to him. For, says he, I observed he put his mouth very close to your ear. Why, replied the other, it was no great secret. He only bade me have a care how I kept company with those who, when they get into a difficulty, leave their friends in the lurch. It's a snarky man there. You see, this one makes sense. Would you all agree? I feel like this one, the events of the story make sense with the moral. Even though, it's a bit catty at the end. I feel like he probably, you don't like it though? Yeah, it's like, you should save me. Um, it makes sense, but what can you do about a bear? Yeah, that's the thing, right? And it's the same thing where it's the same sort of defense about content warning mass shootings, right? People get angry at especially men who are sort of victims of a mass shooting, the ones who survive anyway. Um, for like, oh, you should have used your manliness to protect the others and all that. When I think there's a certain point where it's just like, you shouldn't be a hero. You need to look after, you know, you can't help other people if you're dead, if that makes sense. It's not like the other person pushed you into the bear. Yeah, that's true. Okay, next up, the boy and nettle. A boy playing in the fields got stung by a nettle. He ran home to his mother, telling her that he had but touched that nasty weed, and it had stung him. It was just your touching it, my boy, said the mother, that caused it to sting you. The next time you meddle with a nettle, grasp it tightly, and it will do you no hurt. Do boldly what you do at all. So, reading that one, I was kind of thinking it was going to go in the direction of you you threatened it, so it defended itself. But there's just gardening advice. Nettles don't work like that. Okay, that I didn't know that. I was like, oh, this is news to me. Gonna go grasp some nettles now. But yeah, I would have thought this kind of story would do better with a moral of, like, don't start fights you can't finish, or that sort of thing. But anyway, like, I used to keep a quote book when I was in high school, and I have a quote of my friend saying, "Say your words with conviction." Oh, with that delivery, it was fantastic. This is terrible nettle advice, I think. Right? Okay, so next up we have number 13, Venus and the Cat. A cat, having fallen in love with a young man, besought Venus to change her into a girl, in the hope of gaining his affections. The goddess, taking compassion on her weakness, changed her into a fair damsel, and the young man, enamored of her beauty, led her home as his bride. As they were sitting in their chamber, Venus, wishing to know whether in changing her form she had also changed her nature, set down a mouse before her. The girl, forgetful of her new condition, started from her seat and pounced upon the mouse as if she would have eaten it on the spot. Whereupon the goddess, provoked at her frivolity, straightway turned her into a cat again. What is bred in the bone will never out of the flesh. I mean, this just seems like a justification for class. You know what I mean? And like a defense of the class system. And for prejudice, a defense of prejudice. But also, what the hell? I don't understand the logic behind this action. So, yes, so the girl had literally the cat had just literally turned into a woman. And then saw a mouse. And then wanted to eat it. And then Venus was just like, oh, okay, well, that was a failed experiment, and changes her back into a cat. Why would you do that? The goddess was trolling. I think the logic is that the Greek gods are dicks, right? Sigh. Okay, so next up we have the miser. The miser, to make sure of his property, sold all that he had and converted it into a great lump of gold, which he hid in a hole in the ground, and went continually to visit and inspect it. This roused the curiosity of one of his workmen, who, suspecting that there was a treasure, when his master's back was turned, went to the spot and stole it away. When the miser returned and found the place empty, he wept and tore his hair. But a neighbor who saw him in this extravagant grief and learned the cause of it, said, "Fret thyself no longer. But take a stone and put it in the same place, and think that it is your lump. Oh, your lump of gold. For, as you never meant to use it, the one will do you as much good as the other. The worth of money is not in its possession, but in its use. I think that one's fair enough. What do you think? This one's sort of like, yeah. The last one was pro the class system, pro capitalism, we can say. And this one was anti-capitalism. In a way, like it's about just because you have the money, well, you should spend it on something. May as well spend it on good things as well. You don't like this one either? What's your take on it? That's true. I don't like the way rich people use their money. That's true. Yeah. I mean, at least the person who stole it didn't get punished. You can't pay rent with a stone. Yeah, that's true. Very true. You've changed my mind on this one. At least the story follows, Next up, 15. The Lion and the Bulls. 3 bulls fed in a field together in the greatest peace and amity. A lion had long watched them in the hope of falling on them. In the hope of making a prize of them. But, okay, I think I remember this story, and this one is silly, but found there was little chance for him so long as they kept all together. He therefore began secretly to spread evil and slanderous reports of one against the other, till he had fomented a jealousy and distrust among them. No sooner did the lion see that they avoided one another, and fed each by himself apart, than he fell upon them singly, and so made an easy prey of them all. The quarrels of friends are the opportunities of foes. So that one, basically, hey there, Looperwolf152, how's it going? We're reading some Aesop's Fables before hopefully finishing off Undertale. But this one, it feels like it... nothing necessarily wrong in terms of the logic of the story, but like...
Stop encouraging Kev.
Hey.
Moral of the story, lions are slanderous.
Very true, Kay Shizzle. Thank you so much for resubscribing. The only issue that I really have with this one is that it has some pacing issues. Like, I want to eat these things. Let's just skip forward to like 12 months where somehow the lion was able to spread slander about them. I want to know what kinds of things the lion was saying. I feel like this would work well in like a picture storybook format where, and then the lion went to this person and said blah, 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 blah. But, I can't really fault it on that. That may just be this translation as well. The lion played the long game, but we just didn't see it because, you don't want to give us ideas of doing the same thing. Why is it a story about animals, though? What does that add to the moral of it? I mean, it's just the thing that Aesop did. I think he's very well known for having used animals in everything. I don't know whether that's... Actually, I feel like there are papers written about why he used animals. I think it might be to make it more palatable to children. Psst, John thinks your tail looks wonky. Isn't that so rude of him? Lines where they just liked each other's pinazzles. Okay, so the thirsty pigeon.
Hi.
Aesop's a furry. Aesop is like the original furry. Thank you so much for following Ash by G. Jeff says you look dumb when grazing. I'm just imagining how someone can look different ways while grazing. That's adorable. Okay, now the thirsty pigeon. A pigeon, severely pressed by thirst, seeing a glass of water painted upon a sign, supposed it to be real. So, dashing down at it with all her might, she struck against the board, and, breaking her wing, fell helpless to the ground, where she was quickly captured by one of the passers-by. Great haste is not always good speed. I mean, that's a catchy slogan. But I think there's too much in this story. Like, I mean, like, it's a glass of water painted upon a sign. So why would you just suddenly? I don't know. Moral: don't be thirsty. Moral is birds are silly.
Bye.
Oh, jeez. Hey, Linsights! Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the club. Okay, so think before you act, I think, would be a good thing. I feel like they could have written a better story for that, though. That seemed a bit too convoluted. It needed a glass of water to be on a sign. It needed a pigeon to be really thirsty and to see the sign, and then decide that swooping on a glass of water would be the thing to do. If the sign, like, the bird didn't understand the concept of signs, how would the bird necessarily grasp the concept of a glass of water? You know? Because I feel like signs came before glasses. I don't know, I feel like I'm overthinking this. Okay. The geese and the cranes. Oh, I think this one's the fatphobic one. So, content warning, fatphobia here. Some geese and some cranes fed together in the same field. One day, the sportsman came suddenly down upon them. The cranes, being light of body, flew off in a moment and escaped. But the geese, weighed down by their fat, were all taken. In civil commotions, they fare best who have least to fetter. I mean, you could have phrased that in a way that made more sense, first of all. But also, like, what the hell? They're just different kinds of birds. The only geese who get fat are the ones that, people force feed with, like by shoving horrible lard down their throat. Gav destroys Asa. Yeah, this is just terrible. This is a terrible story. 0 stars. Okay. 18. Be in good shape so that evil people can't hurt you, right? Talk about victim blaming. And geese can still fly. I guess they weren't fast enough. I will not accept this anti-geese agenda. Yeah. Okay, the raven and the swan. No geese were harmed in the making of this particular story. A raven envied a swan the whiteness of her plumage, beautiful plumage, and thinking that its beauty was owing to the water in which she lived, he deserted the altars where he used to find his livelihood. Well, was he like a stockbroker or something? And betook himself to the pools and streams that he used to. No, the rivers and the lakes that he used to. Okay. There he plumed and dressed himself and washed his coat, but all to no purpose, for his plumage remained as black as ever, and he himself soon perished for want of his usual food. He couldn't go back, couldn't he? Change of scene is not change of nature. So that's another one that's along the line of like that classism, where like there's no point in rising above your station, because one thing I will say for it, in its favor, I was deathly afraid that this story was going to end up being like racist, like a racist allegory about, you can't wash the black of a raven or something like that, something really like, ugh. But instead it was just, for the class system. Which I guess also ends up being racism in a way. Yeah, you know what? It's totally racist. Well, I take all that back. Okay, so number 19. Hey there, E01EE. Hope you're doing well. E011EE. My mistake, I apologize profoundly. Number 19. The rich man and the tanner. A rich man lived near a tanner. Oh, you turn to say, and not liking the unpleasant smell of the tan yard, he pressed his neighbor to go away. Go away, neighbor, you smell. Jeez. The tanner put off his departure from time to time, saying that he would remove soon. I think it's meant to say move soon. But as he still continued to stay, it came to pass as time went on, the rich man became accustomed to the smell and made no further complaints. What is the moral here? Like, go away, Stinky. So, like, yeah, the man stops complaining because he got accustomed to it over the time. Is it saying just take your time, or really makes you think it's okay to lie to rich people who are dicks? Rich people are whiny. Okay, number 20, our last story for today before we start playing Undertale. The Thief and the Dog. A thief coming to rob a house would have stopped the barking of a dog by throwing bread to him. "Away with ye," said the dog. "I've had my suspicions of you before, but this excess of civility assures me that you are a rogue. A bribe in hand betrays mischief at heart." Yeah. Okay, I'd be more surprised by the talking dog than, But still, yeah, that's a very eloquent dog. And also, like, I don't think dogs eat bread, do they? I've never had a dog, so, but I just assume that they wouldn't. But then again, some dogs eat everything, don't they? Why is the dog Scottish? I don't know, because I said, "Away with ye!" I only associate that with Scottish English. Or does that count as Scots? "Away with ye." Dogs will eat anything, depends on the dog and how hungry they are. Moral is use better bribes. Dogs shouldn't eat bread. Is it kind of like pigeons where they sort of blow up and explode? Oh, the next one would have been The Crab and Her Mother. Lovely stuff. So that was 100 World's Great Fables. Although it has reminded me of another comic that I want to read at some point during my reading streams, which I actually really like doing reading streams. So I'm hoping I'm going to get back into doing more of them more regularly once I get my life all figured out. Hopefully soon. But I'll be back in a sec. I'll just grab some books. Sarah John Pierre here? No. That's not fancy. I just can't wait for more. Thank you so much for reading, Kev. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm really glad that people like the reading streams, because definitely get a kick out of them myself. I want to basically see how far I can take the reading streams. Like, where is the line? Okay, so I've got these two Scots books. Actually in Scots. Orwally and the Bruins. That's Orwally over here, our Willie. And the Bruins, which I'm guessing is the Browns. Scotland's happy family that makes every family happy. There you go. So, yeah. The issue is, right, I would be very tempted to read this in Scots. But I feel like, is that racist? "Wall's got a prickly problem, true, but Pa knows what his lad should do. Jings, there's nae sign of wee Hamish, my hedgehog, out here." That's probably racist, right? "Maybe he's come into the hoose to keep warm." Maybe this is a stream I do on Discord in case a bunch of angry white people, like, get me banned from Twitch for doing this. "Oh, Mickey. Oh, great. Pa's found Hamish for me." Yeah, like, how can you read this without an accent? Let's try. It was only Ma's pincushion. I'll hae to find the wee soul. And so, there, that should do it. "Lost Hamish the Hedgehog. Please return to Wally. Big reward, Wally's hoose." Yeah, it just doesn't work. You have to do the accent. "But, oh, Wally, is this the hedgehog you lost? Eh? Another hen? I'll hae the reward." "No, sure, no. This'll be Hamish. Gi's the reward. Jings, I'm off." You're doing less harm to the Scots than that one kid who edited the Scottish Wikipedia. Yeah. Oh, that poor guy. I hope he's sort of been able to work with the Scots community to undo all the damage he's done.